Hi, professors. I'm Melissa, and I'm going to talk a little about the exit plan. So, if you are not productive, do you still matter? What the exit plan says about aging. So, imagine reaching the age of 80 and suddenly being told that your life has become a burden to society, not to your family, but to society. So this is the dystopian premise of the short film, The Exit Plan, where people over the age of 80 can be removed from society under the justification that resources are running out. It is a disturbing idea, but it also raises a deeper question. What happens when a person is no longer seen as productive, as useful? So the way a society treats and perceives its older population reveals that human worth is often linked to productivity. And once that productivity fades, so does their value. We can see this in many Western societies where youth is closely connected to productivity, energy, beauty, and social value, while aging is often associated with decline, dependency, usefulness. And as a result, all the adults can gradually fade out of public life and become less visible. And this way of thinking can be seen in films and nowadays on social media, where they are rarely portrayed as complex individuals with desires, autonomy, and the ability to shape their own lives. So, by repeating this representation, these stereotypes, the media reinforces the idea that aging goes hand in hand with losing value. Of course, if we found ourselves in such a scenario like the films present, with resources running out, then I think tough measures would have to be taken. But who gets to decide what those measures are and why? And if all the adults can be pushed aside, then what stops that logic from extending further? For example, to people with disabilities, or even to limiting who gets to have children. Once we accept that some lives matter than others, then it becomes very hard to draw a line. So, what makes this even more unsettling for me is that the film doesn't feel entirely distant from reality, does it? We may not remove people yet, but there are clear signs of how all the adults are gradually pushed to the margins. And once people retire, are no longer seen as economically active, they start to fade out. They start simply to fade out. So I think this kind of suggests the idea that it's not a total fictional idea, but that it is rooted in attitudes that already exist. So, in the end, the exit plan kind of forces us to confront a difficult question. What happens when a person is no longer seen as productive, as useful? And I think if we continue to tie value to productivity, human value to productivity, then aging becomes not just a natural process, it should be, but a quiet loss of worth. And if that is the case, then the problem is not this dystopian future imagined by one film. The problem is that we think in that way in this present, actually. Thank you very much.